Let me ask you a simple question. If someone followed you for just one ordinary day, watched what time you woke up, what you did with your phone, how you spent your money, how you reacted to problems, would they be able to predict your future? Let me start with a simple truth most people don't like to hear. Your life today is not the result of one big decision. It is the result of many small choices repeated every single day. We often blame circumstances, people, or luck. But deep down we know the real game is happening in our daily habits. Think about this for a moment. Two people earn the same amount of money. One feels stressed, always worried, living paycheck to paycheck. The other feels calm, secure, and steadily growing. What's the difference? Not income, it's behavior. It's discipline. It's habits. We underestimate small things because they don't look powerful. Waking up 30 minutes earlier doesn't look life-changing. Saving a small amount regularly doesn't feel impressive. Reading a few pages every day seems insignificant. But that's the magic. Small habits are silent workers. They don't shout, they whisper. And over time, they compound. Many people say, when I earn more, I will manage my money better. But life doesn't work that way. How you handle a little is exactly how you will handle a lot. If there is no discipline now, there will be no discipline later. Wealth is not created in the bank account first. It is created in the mind first. Another thing we confuse is motivation with consistency. Motivation feels good, it excites us. But it is unreliable. Some days it shows up, some days it doesn't. Habits don't wait for motivation. Habits work even when you are tired, even when you are bored, even when nobody is clapping for you. Look at your daily routine. Where does your time go? Where does your money go? Where does your attention go? These three things, time, money, and attention, tell the full story of your future. If most of them are leaking into distractions and impulses, stress will be the result. If they are invested wisely, peace will be the reward. True wealth is not just about having more. It is about needing less. A person who controls desires is richer than someone who earns more, but is always dissatisfied. Contentment does not mean lack of ambition. It means ambition without anxiety. One powerful habit is delaying gratification. Most financial problems don't come from lack of income, but from lack of patience. The ability to pause, think, and choose wisely is a superpower in today's world. When you master this habit, you stop reacting and start responding. Remember, habits shape character, and character shapes destiny. You don't suddenly become disciplined one day. You practice discipline quietly until it becomes your nature. And once it becomes your nature, success becomes a side effect. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for more money, more time, or more confidence. Start with what you have. Fix one small habit, then another, then another. Over time, you won't just see a change in your finances, you will feel a change in your confidence, clarity, and peace. Because in the long run, it's not what you earn that decides your wealth. It's what you do consistently. And when your habits are aligned with values, wealth follows naturally, not just in money, but in life. Let us reflect on something very simple yet very powerful. Every morning, life gives us a fresh opportunity, but most of us run on autopilot. We wake up, check our phones, rush through the day, spend without thinking, react without pausing, and then wonder why nothing is changing. The reality is, change does not happen through wishes. It happens through patterns, and patterns are built by habits. People often dream of financial freedom, but very few people practice financial responsibility. Freedom is not about how much you earn. It is about how well you manage what comes to you. A person earning a modest income with discipline will feel more secure than a person earning a high income with no control. Stability is not accidental. It is intentional. We also need to understand that money is emotional. Many of our spending habits are driven not by need, but by mood. We buy to impress, to escape, or to feel better temporarily. But temporary pleasure often leads to long-term stress. A wise person learns to pause before spending, asking a simple question. Is this a want or a need? That small pause can save years of regret. Another overlooked habit is learning. The world is changing rapidly. But many people stop learning after formal education. When learning stops, growth stops. And when growth stops, income eventually stops. Investing time in improving skills, Understanding finances and gaining wisdom always gives better returns than chasing shortcuts. Consistency plays a bigger role than talent. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need to be the most committed to showing up daily. Small, repeated actions create momentum. Just like a river cuts through rock not by force, but by persistence, disciplined habits shape a strong financial future. One important habit that creates wealth is gratitude. When we constantly compare ourselves with others, dissatisfaction grows. Dissatisfaction pushes us to make poor financial decisions. Gratitude grounds us. It helps us appreciate what we have and make calm, thoughtful choices instead of impulsive ones. Saving is not about fear, it is about respect for the future. When you save, you are telling your future self, I care about you. When you invest, you are saying, I trust the process. Both require patience. And patience is a habit developed over time. We also need to talk about lifestyle inflation. As income increases, expenses often increase faster. Without awareness, wealth slips through our fingers. A simple lifestyle with clear priorities brings more peace than an expensive lifestyle with constant pressure. The strongest habit is self-control. Not controlling the world, but controlling oneself. When you master this, money stops controlling you. You stop chasing validation through spending. You stop defining success by appearances. You start defining success by peace of mind. So if you want to change your financial story, don't look for a miracle. Look at your routine. Look at the small decisions you repeat daily. Correct them gently, consistently, patiently. Over time, you will realize something beautiful. Wealth is not something you chase. It is something you attract by becoming disciplined, mindful, and balanced. And when habits are right, life naturally moves in the right direction. Not hurried, not stressed, but steady and fulfilling. Let me invite you to slow down for a moment and honestly look at your life. Not at your dreams, not at your plans, but at your daily actions. Because life does not move in big dramatic jumps. It moves quietly, one habit at a time. What you repeat today becomes who you are tomorrow, and who you become decides what you attract in life, including wealth. Many people think wealth is something external, something they will get once circumstances improve. But wealth is first an internal discipline. If the mind is chaotic, money will also become chaotic. If the mind is calm and organized, money begins to flow with purpose. That is why two people with the same opportunities can end up with completely different outcomes. One of the most powerful habits is awareness. Awareness of where your time goes, where your energy goes, and where your money goes. Without awareness, we live reactively. With awareness, we live intentionally. Most financial stress is not because of lack of income, but because of lack of clarity. We often chase comfort before building stability. We want enjoyment now and security later, but life rewards those who reverse this order. When you are willing to do what is uncomfortable today, saving regularly, learning patiently, saying no to unnecessary expenses, you create comfort for tomorrow. This ability to delay pleasure is not sacrifice, it is wisdom. Another silent habit that shapes wealth is the company we keep. Conversations influence thinking. Thinking influences decisions. Decisions influence results. If you surround yourself with people who complain, blame, and spend without thought, that energy slowly shapes you. If you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, positive, and growth-oriented, improvement becomes natural. Many people believe they need more confidence to succeed. In reality, confidence is built through keeping small promises to yourself. When you wake up on time, stick to a budget, and follow through on commitments, self-trust grows. And when self-trust grows, fear reduces. Fear is one of the biggest blockers of financial growth. We also misunderstand success. We think success means more money, more status, more display. But true success is having choices. Choices come from stability. Stability comes from habits. A peaceful night's sleep is a sign of real wealth. Giving is also an important habit. Not because it magically multiplies money, but because it purifies intention. When you give, you shift from fear to abundance. You stop operating from, I don't have enough, to, I have enough to share. That mindset changes how you earn, save, and spend. Remember, habits don't need to be dramatic. They need to be consistent. You don't need to change everything at once. Just change one small thing and stay with it. Improvement is not about intensity, it is about integrity. Over time, these small, invisible changes create visible results. One day you look back and realize that life feels lighter, decisions feel clearer, and stress feels less powerful. Not because money suddenly appeared, but because discipline quietly settled in. In the end, wealth is not just about what you accumulate. It is about what you control, your thoughts, your choices, and your habits. And when those are aligned, life flows with balance, purpose, and peace. Let us begin by understanding something very basic yet often ignored. Life always rewards alignment. When our thoughts, actions, and habits move in the same direction, progress becomes natural. When they are scattered, even great effort produces little result. Wealth in any form follows alignment, not anxiety. Many people believe that if they work hard, success will automatically come. Hard work is important, but direction is even more important. Running fast in the wrong direction only makes you tired. Habits provide direction. They quietly decide whether your effort will create value or just exhaustion. Look closely at how you start your day. The first few moments after waking up often decide the tone of the entire day. If the day begins with chaos, the rest follows the same pattern. A calm, intentional start creates clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. Better decisions, repeated daily, slowly build stability and prosperity. One common mistake people make is confusing income with wealth. Income is what comes in, wealth is what remains. What remains depends on habits, how you plan, how you spend, how you save, and how you respond to temptation. Without control, money slips away quietly, leaving behind stress and regret. Another powerful habit is restraint. In a world that constantly tells us to buy more, show more, and upgrade faster, restraint becomes a strength. Saying no to unnecessary desires is not weakness, it is self-respect. Every time you resist impulse, you strengthen discipline. Discipline then reflects in all areas of life, not just finances. We also need to understand the role of patience. People want quick results, but lasting wealth is slow. It is built brick by brick. Those who rush often collapse. Those who wait, plan, and persist build something that lasts. Patience is not passive. It is active trust in the process. Learning from mistakes is another essential habit. Everyone makes financial errors. The difference between those who grow and those who struggle is reflection. When you pause, learn, and adjust, mistakes become teachers instead of burdens. Contentment plays a silent but powerful role. When we are constantly dissatisfied, no amount of money feels enough. When we are content, even modest success feels fulfilling. Contentment brings clarity. Clarity improves judgment. Good judgment protects wealth. True discipline is gentle, not harsh. It does not come from fear or pressure. It comes from self-awareness. When you understand why you want stability, peace, and freedom, habits form naturally. You stop forcing yourself and start guiding yourself. We often look for motivation outside books, talks, advice, but the most powerful motivation comes from inside. It comes from seeing small progress and honoring it. Progress builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. So instead of asking life for more, prepare yourself to handle more. Strengthen your habits. Simplify your choices. Protect your time and energy. Over time, you will notice something beautiful. Life becomes less chaotic, decisions become easier, and growth becomes steady. Because when habits are aligned with values, wealth is not something you chase. It becomes a natural outcome of a balanced, disciplined, and purposeful life. Your bank balance is not your biggest asset. Your discipline is. Your salary does not decide your wealth. Your choices do. Change your habits, and you won't just change your income, you will change your life. Because in the end, your habits don't just decide your wealth. They decide who you become.